This is Camnet World News. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Sharon Kalimbola. We'll look at the stories making headlines. Chembe District residents being issued with NRCs bearing Mansa District. Livingstone City Council shuts down 9 Dambuan North shops, and government releases 500,000 kwacha plus a tractor to ex-Mufulira miners. In international news, ousted Mali ex-president Ibrahim Boubacar Keïta flees the country. And in sports news, Lamek Banda on the verge of joining Israeli side Maccabi Netanya. Join me shortly for the details.
Msika is here. We have you all covered with just 150 kwacha. You can advertise every day from 17 hours to 18 hours. For a 30-second ad, get the benefit of selling your products and services on Msika. For more details, call our marketing department on +260 953 995099 +260 962 444 726 or +260 971 177 467. Email us on info@camnettvafrica.com. Terms and conditions apply.
Are you a filmmaker? Well, you are exactly what we are looking for.
Camnet TV is calling on local filmmakers. For more details,
you can visit our headquarters in Ibex Hill, next to Hilltop Hospital.
Contact us on
0962 444 726. Camnet TV.
Not just another channel.
The details. The Zambian government, through the Disaster Management and Mitigation Unit, DMMU, has released 500,000 kwacha to open up Njira Forest located in Murundu area of Mfulira to accommodate ex-miners who were retrenched by Mopani 5 years ago. DMMU National Coordinator Chandakawe has also announced that government has procured a tractor to help the ex-miners in the preparation of both their settlements and farming areas. Mr. Kawe disclosed this when he met ex-miners in Mfulira on the Copperbelt Sunday afternoon. The DMMU National Coordinator, however, could not explain to the ex-miners why government took so long to repatriate the ex-miners until now. And the miners have expressed gratitude on the move, saying it will go a long way.
Na matrakta wa government wa mipela abatalo chona okata matrakta kulimina na mano na eva na timweresha la kuina kukito ba timwefura kuisa kumufulila bantu hapa kutabiro kulima bakakwata abana abeshi ba tractor government mwasha government ampela matrakta mwalishi ba kamubeva wa president mwilapatanya uteko kubantu mwilapatanya uteko kubantu yabiri ba ex-miners bali kwata matrakta yanga yabiri bache washe mwali pokera mutamopokere yalisa ukwaye mwisakamana bacho bena kitwe nendi wakuno alo ne ule pepeka no kutavinga ndi wakuno kanshi mwisakamana ili ashi likaya na kanamba ndemi pe mwacho wale chitefi mwata mwamewe ngakuno we mwamewe ngakuno
Katotera kuri batata wesa bare turanguruka baba edika chakwalungu. Ndiye mbachiranga ko batwa kwa busiku. Amutashari bya bwacha. Aporo mbana ifwe twatasha kuri batata twamuna tinomba na ucha bare turanguruka.
The Livingstone City Council has closed down 9 shops that deal in hardware and assorted food items in Livingstone's Dambuan North Market for failing to pay various market levies. The shops were shut down during the City Council's Revenue Task Team routine levy collection exercise, but the traders have complained of poor income in view of the COVID-19 pandemic, which they claim has drastically slowed down their businesses. Eddie Tembo, who deals in hardware products, says the council should not expect levies to be paid if they keep harassing traders, further calling on the area councillor, Owen Muteba, to help address the situation at the market.
A lot of marketeers have run away from the market. trying to seek solace, and who can help them? No one can come on board, because we have got councillors here who needs to stand for the marketeers in this difficult time when the COVID is a pandemic that everyone is affected. Monies are not coming forth. A lot of investments are closed here in Livingstone, but here comes the council. They are charging my penalties for about as much as 2,000. 2,002 something for a marketeer, single marketeer. Some just sell vegetables inside the market. So that's the reason why now people are running away from their stands. Their businesses are affected because the money is not flowing well.
But when contacted for a comment to clarify on the matter, Council Assistant Public Relations Manager Momba Mafwenko explains that the council was forced to close down their shops after owners failed to renew their trading licenses within the 2-month grace period that was given to them in October 2019. Ms. Mafwenko explains that the council is equally struggling financially, adding that it will not continue entertaining excuses of low revenue in view of the coronavirus pandemic. She says the council has since decided to add more penalties for their failure to pay fire certification and renewal of annual levies, among other statutory fees. In other news, the Zambia-China Business and Friendship Association Chairman Sebastian Kopolande says Zambia anticipates reduced trade volume with China owing to the COVID-19 pandemic. The milestone trade volume recorded in 2018 has seen Zambia post a year-on-year growth of 33.9% with a surplus of more than $3 billion United States dollars. China's direct investment into the country has continued to grow and increase by 327 United States dollars, ranking Zambia as China's second trading partner in Africa. But due to the COVID-19 global pandemic, trade between the two countries is likely to reduce due to the anti-COVID-19 measures that have been put in place, such as restricted movement of people. And Dr. Kopolande notes that this has affected small and medium-scale entrepreneurs who import merchandise from China. He says the country's gross domestic product is expected to reduce further, highlighting the need to put in place mitigation measures.
So this has affected the level of business activity amongst these Zambian entrepreneurs whose businesses are premised on trading with China. And also, we have not had inward investment out of China because people cannot come here because of lack of international flights. So at the end of the day, I think COVID-19 will definitely have a negative impact on our GDP, and we just hope that we can develop measures that will mitigate the impact and minimize it.
Confusions seem to characterize the issuance of national registration cards, NRCs, in Chembe district. It has emerged that despite Chembe being an independent district, the government through the Ministry of Home Affairs and the Department of National Registration is issuing NRCs bearing Massa district instead of Chembe district. Benjamin Mayombo, a Chembe youth who was recently issued an NRC, expresses concern to note that his NRC is bearing Massa district while he is a resident of Chembe district, which was given a district status in 2012 by the late President Michael Sata. Meanwhile, Christian Coalition Secretary General Paul Mbulo has called for the immediate ratification of the matter as it may affect people in 2021 during election time.
Benjamin Mayombo, NRC, sanga kuchembe but NRC leshitani manzi. MP so wakachinja kwa district years. But
4-5 years ago. But up to now, people of Kundamfumu, which is almost 5 kilometers from the demarcation area, are still getting NRCs bearing Mansa district. That is quite so much disappointing. How do people feel proud of themselves when they are in Chembe, they are being counted as being in Mansa district? This is just as good as marrying a woman who had a husband before. Now because the husband is no longer with that husband, you marry her. I married a woman who is supposed to be called Mrs. Imbulo. But now this woman is called Mrs. Sikasote. How am I going to be proud of my marriage? So what we are saying is the member of parliament, Mr. Copeland, has got a bigger job for his continuation of the tenure of office. He has been a member of parliament in this Chembe constituency under Chembe district, but having people voting for him coming from Mansa district, that is quite a big scenario. It can even be a fraud when considered so well. Because this is a different district, but people from this district are voting for a different person in a different constituency using NRCs and voters cards bearing a different district. So we need to at least normalize some of these things within the remaining 8 months before we go for the general elections. So as a coalition, we are so much disappointed with the revelations.
In other news, the ruling Patriotic Front Youth Wing in Lusaka province has urged party youths to be ambassadors of peace as the country draws closer to the 2021 general elections. PF Lusaka province youth chairperson Daniel Kalembe says there is no substitute for peace, hence the need for everyone to play their role in maintaining peace. Addressing the media Sunday, Mr. Kalembe explains that the PF, being the ruling party, should lead by example in the observance of laid down rules enshrined in the Zambian constitution and the party constitution. Mr. Kalembe explains that the PF, under the leadership of President Edgar Lungu, believes in peace being a catalyst for sustained economic development.
In Patriotic Front, we have got leadership everywhere. So we are appealing to you, comrades, who are in habit in the name of the party, who are moving up and down to destroy the good name of the party, to disturb the Zambian people in compounds and other areas. We are not going to support that. But we will make sure that the law takes its course. So it's upon ourselves as the youth chairman, where we are coming, to guard our areas and to make sure that no meeting to take place without your approval. As constituent youth chairman, work with your chairman and make sure that whatever you are doing in your constituency just to be approved by you people, and the police have to be notified. Because we can't have any gathering without notifying the police. And we are not going to support or protect anyone who engages himself into illegal activity or criminality. We are not going to protect such people. Our duty is to promote peace, is to promote love, is to promote oneness. Because Zambia belongs to everyone. We may have other people support other political parties. That does not mean that they are our enemies. No. Our job is to tell them what Patriotic Front government has done. Our party, we have done it tremendously well. And no any government which has done what Patriotic Front has done.
A development activist says that government risks empowering wrong people if the right channel of empowerment is not followed. Commenting on the controversial 1,600 empowerment fund being dispersed by government to suspected vulnerable people under the social cash transfer program, Mr. Mwabe, who is also former Zambia Council for Social Development Executive Director, says there is need for government to identify real vulnerable people that will benefit from the funds as opposed to giving anyone found on the streets. Mr. Mwabe explains that social protection should not be inclined to politics, adding that this will result in resources being channeled to wrong interventions.
Well, I think there is need for government to improve in the dispensation of social cash transfers and implementation of social protection, because we have seen that the target groups are not, may not bring out the impact that we need as a country. So as we go into the election year, some of these systems can be manipulated and can be abused. So the need for government, first of all, to ensure that those that have been targeted are being given the needful services that are supposed to be supplied. So we have seen that in the past there are a number of announcements where people in Lusaka are being given maybe 1,600, 1,400, all those. So there is need for government to ensure that they stick to the budget, they supply the social protection according to the plan. Because if this is not done, we are going to see that the poverty reduction will not be achieved as per plan of government. So there is need to ensure that those that have been targeted on bursary schemes, those that have been targeted on FISIP, are given the right quantities, the right amounts, so that we see that the people that have been targeted, the vulnerable groups, have been lifted out of poverty.
This is Camnet World News. Just now we take a break. Join me shortly for more interesting stories.
I have used Oracle Pure Glycerin for 2 years now. It has really worked for me. It has cleared all the black spots on my face. It has restored my skin beauty. It also smoothens the skin. Try Oracle Pure Glycerin for perfect skin. If it's not Oracle Glycerin, then it's not Pure Glycerin.
Stay home, stay safe. Times have changed. With the advent of the coronavirus, Lusaka Water Supply and Sanitation Company would like to advise its esteemed customers to avoid visiting crowded places. You don't have to move to pay your water bill. You can do it in the convenience of your home. You can pay your water bills through Zanaco Zapit, Stanbic Bank, Standard Chartered Bank, and FNB. You can also use Airtel, MTN, and Zamtel Kwacha mobile money transfer services. For any inquiries to report a fault, please contact our customer service on +260 211 251 571, +260 975 618 618, and toll-free line 5957, Zamtel only. You can also simply email customerservice@lwsc.com. This public announcement is brought to you by the Lusaka Water Supply and Sanitation Company. Water is life. Sanitation is health.
We all miss the days we would play outside, go to school, and visit fun places. But now, we all have to take care to prevent the coronavirus. Viruses are really tiny particles that we can't see with just our eyes, so we need to keep ourselves safe by practicing good hygiene, such as washing our hands with soap and clean water regularly. We can also use hand sanitizer to keep our hands clean. It's also important for us to keep our bodies and surroundings clean. We must also avoid handshakes, hugs, and standing close to other people in public places. This is called social distancing. The coronavirus has affected millions of people around the world, so we need to stay safe. In the meantime, we can keep ourselves busy by reading a book, watching TV, and doing some schoolwork. There's so much we can do indoors. Stay safe, stay home, and prevent COVID-19. We're all in this together.
This advert is sponsored by the Zambia Revenue Authority, ZRA. My tax, your tax, our destiny.
Welcome back. The Inspector General of Police, Kakoma Kanganja, has implored police officers involved in policing elections in Mwansabombwe constituency to be professional in the execution of their duties. Mr. Kanganja has also stressed the need for officers to remain impartial in the discharge of their duties. The police chief tells his troops that they should ensure that law is applied fairly to all participating parties. Mr. Kanganja has cautioned officers against involving themselves in partisan politics, saying all those wishing to do so should resign immediately. He says that the men and women in uniform have the primary role of enforcing and observance of the law and order at all times. The Inspector General is in the area to check the security situation and welfare of police officers in Mwansabombwe district, and Chief Mwata Kazembe of the Lunda speaking people says he will not condone any political violence during and after the forthcoming parliamentary by-elections. The traditional leader says Mwansabombwe is a peaceful constituency which all political parties must respect. This is according to a statement issued to the media by Police Public Relations Unit on Sunday. In other news, Chief Momena of the Kaunde-speaking people of Kalumbila district in northwestern province has urged schools to take production units seriously as they have the potential to generate income for any schools. Chief Momena, who has been an advocate for various agricultural activities such as fish farming and goat rearing among his subjects, says schools can be self-reliant if only they can invest in production units. He says this can also help to reduce school fees as the schools will be generating its own income. The traditional leader said this during the groundbreaking ceremony of the construction of the girls' dormitory at the Mutanda Secondary School by Afranate Limited.
This is going to help the learning environment for our young citizens who are the future of our great nation. Through you, thank you very much to government for providing this an environment for government to work together with the evangelical church in Zambia to better our communities. To the head teacher, please ensure that this school is self-sustaining. We want to see how you are going to improve the production unit so that this school does not continue to lag behind, but this school is going to produce its own food to feed the pupils here. And that is the only way, Mr. Headmaster, we're going to ensure that the fees are affordable to the common man.
In health news, Zambia has in the last 24 hours recorded 3 COVID-19 deaths. Health Minister Chitalu Chilufya announces that the deaths include 35 and a 50-year-old with undisclosed gender. Meanwhile, Dr. Chilufya is concerned with the continued late referrals of patients to appropriate health facilities. Dr. Chilufya stresses that if left unchecked, this would undermine government's fight against the pandemic. In the last 24 hours, Zambia has also recorded 67 new COVID-19 positive cases and 6 recoveries, bringing the cumulative total to 11,674.
70 cases of COVID-19 after 1,112 tests done, 3 facility deaths, in the facilities, and if you look at the cases that we recorded, oxygen, 6 critical in our ICU, and on the upper belt, northern, China, and southern combined, we have a total of 16 patients with 7 who are on oxygen. We have discharged 6 patients in the last 24 hours, and therefore we look at our cumulative numbers. We have 12,726 cumulative cases, and out of 123,000 tests. 123,346 days conducted so far. Recoveries continue to not be high, and these are 11,674, and we have 295 deaths. 100 classified as COVID deaths, and 195 as COVID associated Yes. When we have a LIMS Africa picture, we have recorded in Africa now 1,297,322 cases and have lost 1,121 citizens. The SADC region, we now have recorded 685,000 cases and 15,850 deaths with 594,106 recoveries. I continue reiterating the call by His Excellency the President from Zambia for all of us to hold hands in a multi-sectoral manner.
The ruling Patriotic Front National Youth Chairman Kelvin Sampa has tested positive for COVID-19. In a brief statement issued to the media, Mr. Sampa, who is also Kasama Central Member of Parliament, explains that before the test, he was experiencing general feeling of discomfort and ease and illness whose exact cause was difficult to identify. Mr. Sampa says his doubt of his medical condition was cleared on Saturday when health authorities presented him with his COVID-19 positive results. Mr. Sampa is currently admitted to Levi Mwanawasa COVID-19 Isolation Center. Meanwhile, the Council of Churches in Zambia Secretary General Emmanuel Chikoya and other CCZ staff who tested positive for COVID-19 on the 16th of August 2020 have recovered from the disease. In a media statement issued to the media by Reverend Chikoya, says a second test, as advised by health authorities, has revealed that all staff that were affected have been cleared COVID-free. Reverend Chikoya has also announced that the Secretariat, which was closed following the recorded disease within the institution, is due for reopening on Monday, 7th September 2020. He also says that all relevant processes of fumigating of all officers have been done in readiness for the resumption of work. On the 4th of September 2020, the CCZ Secretariat was closed and all work were being done virtually as there was no physical contact. In other news, the Department of National Parks and Wildlife Director Chuma Simukonde says the COVID-19 pandemic has adversely affected the tourism sector. Mr. Simukonde explains that as a result of few tourists visiting national parks in the country due to the movement restrictions in most countries owing to the outbreak of COVID-19. He says as a result of poachers have taken advantage of these difficult times in indiscriminately killing animals in parks. Mr. Simkonde has, however, warned that the department has intensified patrols in various national parks to protect the wildlife, which he says is currently in danger.
These two operators receive visitors from outside. COVID has closed out the tourists from coming, meaning that the tour operators are not going around to show tourists. It means that it is very quiet. Because it has become so quiet, it means that poachers are not deterred anymore. They are not discouraged anymore from going into national parks because there's no one there. Believe you me, it is not just wildlife police officers who do the protection. Even tour operators, just by mere existence in the park, it's a deterrent to poachers. So when the operators stop operating and they quit, it means that the whole area where they dwell becomes a quiet place and becomes a vulnerable area. And that's a situation. Poachers have bigger areas to dwell in.
Healing Word Ministries International Overseer Pastor Moses Chiluba has refuted a story attributed to him and posted on the official Patriotic Front PF Facebook page, where he is quoted as having said it is not an insult to question how one acquired wealth. Pastor Chiluba has since asked those running social media pages to slow down. According to him, his message was not intended at opposition United Party for National Development leader Hakainde Hichilema as being alleged. Pastor Chiluba explains that Zambia is bigger than politicians for him to base his sermon on an individual. He has since advised Zambians against spreading falsehoods by listening to what he preaches segregatively.
Today's message was not targeted on a church. Today's message was directed to individuals. to the families, to the homes, and all leadership at work anywhere that you are found. And so stop being a simpleton. Let's get the message as it is. We were born for greatness.
We take a break, but still to come is international and sports news. Stay with us.
To create a positive difference in people's lives, one must first understand the way people live. At Savenda, we're here for our community, our partners, and our future, as a nation and as a continent.
Back in 1997, we decided we were going to create this family journey into a bigger opportunity, and created a business called Savenda, which meant Save Nations to Develop Africa.
It's always important to give back to the people. The government cannot do everything, but as business entities, we'll be able to reach a lot of people.
From our humble beginnings in the telecoms and mining sectors to our work in energy and development projects, we know how important it is to be true to our roots.
Our services have to be diversified so that we don't depend on one income stream. Back in the village, I was growing up hunting and doing everything that a village boy would like to do. When you're hunting, you don't depend on one trap, for example. You have to have many traps. So those survival skills brought into the business created opportunities that we learned from a young age that you can't survive with just one product. Savenda Group involves Savenda Management, which is a consulting, Savenda Express, which is a corporate branding company, Savenda Electric, which is a manufacturer of energy-saving bulbs, Savenda General Insurance, which is a general insurance company, Savenda Fresh Produce, Cyber Africa, which is a center for just dealing with cyber security.
Now, Savenda is combining local knowledge with international expertise. It's time to be a part of Zambia's rising success and Africa's exciting future.
We are a gateway into Africa, and now we are praying with global companies who are coming to Zambia for opportunities and to look for companies that are homegrown, and we are proud to be one of those.
Welcome back. We now look at international news. Mali's ex-president Ibrahim Boubacar Keïta, who was ousted in a coup last month, has left the country. Mr. Keïta, 75, flew to the United Arab Emirates Saturday for medical treatment after suffering a minor stroke, military officials have reported. The junta is currently in talks with opposition and civil society groups about transition to the civilian rule. It says it will step down in 2 years, but West African leaders want a quick transfer of power. Mr. Keïta was overthrown on the 18th of August following a mass protest against his rule over corruption, mismanagement of the economy, and the dispute over legislative elections. The coup sparked international commendation, but it was welcomed by many Malians. Mr. Keïta was detained by the military but later freed. ECOWAS gave an undertaking to the junta that Mr. Keïta would return if he is wanted for any crimes allegedly committed during his 7-year rule. It is the fourth coup in the West African state since it gained independence from France in 1960. Well, just now we look at sports news. In sports news, Zamfort reports that Zambian winger Lamek Banda is closing to join Israeli Premier League side Maccabi Netanya from Tinkoff Russian Premier League Arsenal Tula, according to reports in Israel. Banda, who joined Tula in July last year but has failed to command a place in the starting lineups, unlike Klings Kangwa, who is joined who joined Tula with last year after impressing during trials. The media reports in Israel claim that Lamek was initially scheduled to join another Israeli side in Beta Jerusalem before Netanyahu came to hijack the deal. In a bizarre story, Sport 5 claimed that young Zambian had a change of mind after he was told that Beta Jerusalem was a racist. Lamek was expected to be the first one to settle at Tula after an impressive performance in his first game during his trials, but has since just managed 174 minutes in the league and is yet to score a goal. And still in sports news, Zesco United Football Club has confirmed the acquisition of winger Lazarus Piri from Green Eagles as he becomes the second player to officially join the dollar-based outfit this transfer window. Piri spent last season on a loan at Kansanshi Dynamos, where he was menaced to a lot of defenders in the league. Has penned a one-year loan deal. The speedy winger says it's a rare to play for a big club like Zesco, and he wants to prove he's worthy. Piri joins former Red Irish skipper Bruce Musakanya at Levi Monalsa Stadium as the 8-time Super League champions continue building their new squad with the aim of bouncing back after missing out on the continental football. Well, that sporting item brings us to the end of our news, but before we go, let's just have a look at the headlines once again. Chembe District residents being issued with NRCs bearing Mansa District. Livingstone City Council shuts down 9 Dambwa North shops. Government releases 500,000 kwacha plus a tractor to ex-Mufulira miners. In international news, ousted Mali ex-president Ibrahim Boubacar Keita flees the country. And in sports news, Lamek Banda on the verge of joining Israeli side Maccabi Netanya. Well, that's it on the news desk, but before that, let's look at the Camnet verse for the day, and it's coming from Philippians 1 verse 2, and it reads, being confident of this, that he who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion until the day of Christ Jesus. Well, that's it on the news desk. Thank you so much for joining us. Remember to stay within the health guidelines of the new normal. My name is Sharon Kalimbola. Good night.